Hey everyone, this is Blake at L3S, the channel all about learning, loving, living, and sharing. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about getting too much or too little sunlight. Getting too much or too little sunlight can have effects on your mood, your personality, your social abilities, how you deal with everything, and so forth. And so I think it's really important to know about how little sunlight or too much sunlight could affect you, and just so you can live as the best person you can be. Okay, so for the good ways on how sunlight can positively affect your mood, the first thing is it can enhance your mood. So basically, when you get sunlight, your skin absorbs it and stuff, and basically that signals for your brain to produce various chemicals that tell your body to stay awake and be active. And the most important chemical here is melatonin. And melatonin is basically a secreted chemical that tells your body the alert level or how active you should be and or how awake you should be. And then it also, in conjunction with that, tells you when you should fall asleep and go to bed. The next major thing that our bodies give us is vitamin D. So when we're exposed to sunlight, our bodies and our brains produce vitamin D, which is basically a chemical that also allows other parts of our body to better absorb chemicals such as magnesium, phosphate, and calcium. The subject of vitamin D is a little bit tricky because if you get too much of it, it can be a bad thing, and if you get too little of it, it can be a bad thing. Too much vitamin D can cause a buildup of calcium in your blood, and that can lead to nausea, constipation, heart murmurs, heart irregularity, and it can also lead to kidney stones. Too little vitamin D can lead to schizophrenia, dementia, breast cancer, and prostate cancer. Characteristics of being exposed to too little sunlight include mood swings, irritability, you're extra tired, you're extra kind of lazy and unmotivated, and you are also sleeping too much. So this is actually something I'm dealing with right now living in Sweden. So I live in the very north part of Sweden in a town called Luleå, but we are getting about 3 hours of sunlight per day. And this has been the same kind of thing for the past 2 months, and we're going to still have this kind of daylight for about the next 3 months. And so I myself have really experienced this. I have been very, very tired lately, and I've been unmotivated to do things. So the fourth and final thing that I have is that sunlight can really just reduce your stress. So just going outside and everything can just make you so much happier, because when you are going outside, say you're walking your dog, you can take a breath of fresh air, you can enjoy nature, you can socialize with other people, you can get exercise at the same time. So just being exposed to the sun is really kind of a win-win situation as long as you don't overdo it. So we just looked at a way in which sunlight can provide a positive kind of thing for you, and it can be really good. But then I was going to jump into how sunlight can actually be pretty bad for you, especially if you get too much of it. So the first major negative effect that the sun can have on you is that the ultraviolet rays can damage your eyes. So the ultraviolet rays can reach the back of your eyes, called the retinas, and that can basically cause damage and exposure so you can have trouble seeing. So the effects that the sun can have on your eyes is it can basically cause cataracts, it can cause cancer, or it can even cause blindness. The next major effect that I have for you that you can get from the too much exposure to the sunlight is heat exhaustion. So heat exhaustion is basically kind of a signal from your body telling you that there is a lack of salt or fluids in your body. And so basically, this can cause dizziness, headaches, nausea, or muscle cramps. So the next major thing that too much sunlight can do for you in a bad way, it directly connects actually to the heat exhaustion, and this is heat stroke. So basically, this is kind of an exasperation of heat exhaustion, and it is basically when your body starts freaking out and stuff, and your temperature in your body like spikes up to around 106 degrees Fahrenheit or about 41 Celsius. And this is basically when you would start fainting or having some serious mental or physical issues. Any kind of heat stroke could be fatal or cause disabilities. So, as soon as a problem occurs, it needs to be treated right away. Otherwise, it could lead to definite changes and long term effects that are very bad. The next major thing is, you probably guessed it, sunburn. It's very common, it happens all the time when your skin is exposed to the sun for long periods of time. It starts to burn the inner layer of your skin, and this is when you can start getting problems such as blisters, eczema, little patches of dry skin, and you can even get cancer or skin cancer in these specific areas, and it builds up over time. So someone quite young probably can't get skin cancer, and a older person that has been in the sun longer for their life is probably more prone to something like this. Now, if you have light skin or if you have brighter colored eyes, you are more susceptible to the ultraviolet radiation. So if you have dark eyes or darker skin, you don't need to worry about this as much. But if you have any of those lighter qualities, you need to watch out for this. Another interesting thing to point out here is moles and what exactly those are. And basically, moles are formed like when your skin is trying to heal or whatnot. Instead of like something causes your skin cells to gravitate towards one specific area and kind of cluster together. And so then all these skin cells that are clustered together produce the melanin, which produces the skin color. But since the little cells are all grouped together, it basically makes an exemplified color. And so that's why they are much darker than the rest of your skin. The next major thing that the sun can do if exposed to in long quantities is it can cause wrinkles or premature aging. Now, this happens basically because when the sun touches down on your skin, it breaks down the elasticity in your skin so it doesn't bounce up in spring like it normally did. And there have been studies done where it is shown that there are only really two things that are worse than getting wrinkles directly from the sun, and that is smoking or using tanning beds. And so doing either of these things over a long period of time have been shown to kind of make your skin all leathery, and it kind of gives it a yellowish hue. So the last major negative effect that I have for you that comes from the sun is that sunlight can basically compromise your immune system. And the way this works is that, say you get a sunburn, well, in order to fix the sunburn and heal it, the white blood cells in your body have to all gravitate towards the sunburn. And so that basically leaves all the other areas of your body exposed. And so this can possibly lead to a higher risk of infection while you have a sunburn or any kind of injury in that case. So now for the takeaways to wrap this up, you want to make sure that you get about 15 minutes of sunlight every day for the minimum. And you want to make sure you have a balance of sunlight. You don't want to get too much or too little, otherwise it'll have dire effects. If you are unable to get enough vitamin D, say you live in the North Hemisphere where there's almost no daylight, you can take vitamin D supplements to help with the effect, but it is scientifically and by doctors and everyone, it's not recommended to solely rely on supplements to get your fulfillment of vitamin D. So you want to get outside as much as you can, but if you have to, you can take these supplements and you'll be fine. 3, make sure to cover up and use adequate protection to protect yourself while in the sunlight. Make sure to fully use clothes, use umbrellas, use sunglasses, use hats, use sunscreen. Use any method you can to help yourself. Make sure to not use tanning beds, as it is shown that using such things is actually worse for your skin than the actual real thing. So just make sure instead of using a tanning bed, you go outside on a sunny day and just lie under the sun and have fun. That being said, when you do go outside, you want to make sure you are taking plenty of breaks and you don't want to expose your body for too long of a time, and you want to also give your body just kind of a rest from being in the sun constantly. Make sure to keep your body hydrated and so that is fully functioning. And you also want to make sure that you're going to bed at roughly the same time each day so that you can keep your circadian rhythm in check. Because when your circadian rhythm is not in order, like you are going to bed at vastly different times and waking up at vastly different times each day, doing this can throw your circadian rhythm off, and then it can throw off the processes of your body and just it can really kind of make you feel like crap. Also, make sure you are limiting your sunlight exposure about 2 hours before bed, as not doing so could keep the melatonin levels up in your body, and that could make it really hard to go to sleep. Okay, well, that is it for this episode. I hope you guys learned something. I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you want to comment in the box below and let me know about any of your thoughts relating to this episode. And I hope I see you next time, and have a nice day.